What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream here on Ranger Central, late night live stream. But we are here to talk about the news that broke unofficially. Officially, it will be official tomorrow. Chris Kreider, it looks like, is headed to the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for a prospect, which we are hearing rumblings about the name of the prospect as well as a pick, which I've heard potentially. It's a third, I've heard. It's a second, I've heard. It's a fourth. I was going to wait for tomorrow to go live and talk about this, but honestly, I'll just go live if there's anything else that, is involved in the trade or breaks because there is so much to unpack potentially with this trade and talk about in terms of what this means for the future of the Rangers in terms of the cap space that they have now opened up by moving Chris Kreider, in terms of Chris Kreider's time with the Rangers and everything. There is so much to unpack that I could go live and talk about this again, and I will have no issues finding ways to talk about it, but it is probably not going to happen until tomorrow. The way that this broke, Frank Saravalli put out a tweet about how Chris Kreider and the Rangers are going to be going their separate ways there, and then it is going to be with the Anaheim Ducks. He said that the deal was not official at the time and still is not official, but the framework of a deal was in place. I will get actually the exact tweet up. I don't know why I'm not just doing that. But leave a like on your way into the live stream here, everyone. If you guys do enjoy what you're seeing, if you're watching live on replay, whatever it may be, turn on your post notifications so you know when we upload or go live here on Ranger Central. And then turn on your notifications so you know when we. Did I say that? I meant to subscribe. Jeez, I'm all over the place. I'm just, my head's in a blender right now. And right now I am trying to get the tweet up. But leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. There you go. Let's keep it quick and easy as I was trying to buy time for the tweet. But Frank Saravalli puts out, sources say, hashtag NYR and hashtag NHL Ducks are in advanced discussions on a deal that would send Chris Kreider to Orange County. No semantics. There is no deal at this moment in time, but there's interest and framework. Both teams have had other irons in the fire today. We'll see on Wednesday. I can't read right now, apparently. He put out an article that there is a name of the prospect, which I am not going to say who, but I've got info that the prospect is allegedly going to be Carey Terrence coming back in return, which we'll talk about him. And then again, the pick, I have not got any confirmation on whether that's, public information, private information that I've received. I have not got any word at all about what that draft pick is going to be. But in terms of the prospect that they got, it's not a surprise that they got a guy that is North American, that captained a team in the OHL this past year. The Erie Otters put up a pretty solid season, 20 goals, 19 assists, 39 points in 45 games. Was at the World Juniors, put up 2 goals there in that event. Put up 52 points, though, in 56 games with the Erie Otters in the year prior. So a decent prospect. He's a center, was drafted in the second round, 2023, 59th overall. I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything about him, but according to just looking at elite prospects here, the player type that they have, it says that he's a powerful skater, which is definitely something that is great, more of an explosive skater in that regard. And he is more of a two-way forward, which makes sense given the production that he puts up. So as long as he's kind of that, maybe a third line center in the future, I'll take it. I will absolutely take it. And I will take, especially if it's a second round pick, I will absolutely take that. To me, this is more about opening up the cap space. And I think that's the biggest win in this all. But again, like I've put out on Twitter, like I have just, said in general with all of the moves that may happen throughout this offseason, I don't care what they do with the cap space or anything, or not that I don't care. I should say I care about what they do with the cap space more than opening it up. That's how I want to phrase it. So they could open up as much cap space as they want. Don't care if they're signing more third pair defensemen. Don't care if they're trading for more third pair defensemen. Do not care if they're getting depth forwards. They have to make the correct moves here with the cap space they opened up. And there's been rumors about Jason Robertson potentially being on the Rangers' radar. And if they're opening up the cap space there, that would be great. But I'm not getting my hopes up on that thing entirely. And then, maybe Will Cooley, you're opening up cap space to bring him back so you don't have to worry about an offer sheet there, which that would make some sense considering there were talks and Frank Saravalli actually bringing up that Carolina could be a threat potentially as an offer sheet there. And with the cap space they have and everything, and just in terms of who Will Cooley is, that would have made sense. So it would be nice to see the Rangers lock up Will Cooley unless they're moving him in a deal to get a guy like Jason Robertson, which I would assume that's what it would take to get him. So at the end of the day, what matters more is what they end up getting or what they end up using that cap space on. Because again, Carey Terrence, nice little prospect. The pick, nice. I would have liked for them to have moved Kreider last offseason, which I was talking about, because it would have been nice to have the cap space then, and it would have been nice to have maybe some better picks or maybe some better roster players. But what's done is done, man. What's done is done, and I'll take what they got here. I will take what they got. And I'm not surprised that Anaheim is one of the teams that was involved and is the team that's getting Kreider. Not that I've heard anything about that or anything, but I'm just not surprised because Chris Kreider spent the entire season talking about how he missed Jacob Trouba. So he could go out there. And then there was also a report apparently that I think it was from Vince that he's wanted to play for Joel Quenneville. So you also have that. So that's interesting. Obviously, the bigger discussion here, though, is Chris Kreider himself and everything that happened during his Rangers tenure. I'll say this on the subject. I appreciate everything Chris Kreider did. I do. And I know that people are not going to take me seriously when I say this because of the fact that I've made jokes in the past about his how his number, or not even jokes. I've said his number shouldn't be retired. I've made jokes about him in the past and everything. I've been very critical of Chris Kreider's play, but I still do appreciate everything that he's done for this team because he's had some big playoff moments, and there's no denying that. The hat trick against Carolina last year, and then you also have some clutch playoff goals, like scoring that last second goal versus Washington, and all the other countless moments, just that goal he scored against New Jersey in 2012 during that first playoff run that he was called up for. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't appreciate those things that he brought to the table and every moment that he had as a Ranger. He's going to end up being stuck now tied with the power play goal record, that is. So he doesn't even get a chance to break that at all, which it's a little funny to me. I'm not going to lie. It's a little funny. But either way, I appreciate everything he's done. I have my opinions that he shouldn't get his number retired, and I know that it's not the popular opinion entirely or anything, but that's just how I feel. Just in terms of reading it, because I know people are going to point out this is from Vince when he's tweeting now about Kreider, about where he ranks in terms of all these stats. So in goals, he's third of all time. Playoff goals, he is first all time. Power play goals, he is tied for first. Game winning goals, he is second. Shorthanded goals, fourth. Games played, eighth. Points, 10th. Shots, fifth. A lot of it is longevity based. So I don't know. That's why to me, I wouldn't retire his number, but that's a conversation probably for another day. I know that people will hate me for saying that. I get it. We could have that debate though another time. What matters is the here and the now. And again, I appreciate everything that he's done for this team. He was here for a while. It is just unfortunate that this was the ending because this past year, not that again, I was the biggest fan of him even over the past few years. I wasn't a fan of the extension when they gave it. At the time, I felt they should have continued on with recouping some younger assets. They didn't do that. He ended up having a 52 goal season in here, which was nice. But again, there were times where I was just like, I wanted to see more from him from like just the play that we saw when he was first called up with the team. I wanted to see that a little bit more, and we just never got it, unfortunately, throughout the entirety of his tenure. And then obviously him playing injured last year. The problem, what comes down to it, and why there are fans, including myself, that are happy about the fact that he's being dealt, is the way that it ended and just the sulking, the sobbing, the whining, the complaining. And that goes for this entire group. Every single member of this group. That's why I have no feelings and no care in the world. And I am happy when these guys are moved because I just have simply no attachment to them anymore. And changes have to be made. And this is one of those changes that has to be made. And it's time to turn the page in terms of the leadership group, too. I don't want to see Mika Zibanejad with a letter next year. Chris Kreider is one of the guys that wore a letter. He's not going to be back now. It's time to completely overhaul the entire face, the entire shape and everything of the team. And this is one of the ways you do it. And this should be a wake-up call, which you would think with how much, they were hurt when Trouba got moved, that would be a wake-up call. But instead they sulked, and I'm sure they'll do the same here. But that's why you got to cut out more of this and have guys that are going to be willing to turn the page. So we'll see if Mika ends up waiving. I doubt that. I highly, highly doubt that, but we'll see. So those are overall my thoughts. I'll see what some of you guys are saying in the chat right now to get your thoughts overall. But yeah, I'm appreciative of what he's done for the team. But at the same time, it's what had to be done. It's what had to be done at the end of the day. And they need someone that's going to produce more at 5-on-5. They need the $6.5 million in cap space. It is what it is. And I want to make it clear again, by the way, in case anyone missed the intro, this is not a finalized deal. This is just what we've heard as of right now in terms of the framework, in terms of the fact that the deal is close, and it looks like it's going to be Carey, Terrence, and a second-round pick for Chris Kreider. It will probably be official tomorrow or the next day. I will go live if there's any more details because, like I said, there is a lot to unpack in terms of this conversation, in terms of just, again, Kreider in this time with the Rangers, and in terms of the trade itself. There's so much that we could talk about. And again, what this means for the team going forward. Hopefully it means they're going to target a Jason Robertson. Again, am I getting my hopes up? No, but I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping in some regard for it. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, though, right now. Joe, thank you for the $2. Daddy, how excited are you for Pizza Boy to mess us up? You know he's going to get a third pair defenseman and, pump his fist like he's the man, right? Hopefully we're pleasantly surprised for once. That's all I could say. I'm kind of at the point, though, where it's like, I'm not going to have feelings one way or the other with what happens this offseason. I'm kind of in a boat where it's like, I'm so disgusted and annoyed that nothing could drive it really further anymore. And it's like, it's just something that wouldn't surprise me if they do something that would piss me off more. That's what it comes down to. Also, thank you everyone that tagged me in the Frank Saravalli tweet when it went out. Because when I saw that, I was leaving the Met game, which is also why I'm going live a little bit later. When I was leaving the Met game, I saw that I was getting tagged in a Frank Saravalli tweet. My service was not working at first, and I was freaking out of what was happening. And then, thankfully, it ended up loading, and long and behold, this is what ended up happening. Gavrikov 7x7 is going to obliterate my brainstem. That's a possibility because we did hear rumors going around that they would be interested in Gavrikov. And my stance on that entire thing, I don't hate the player. I'm going to hate the contract. And that's really what it is, because he's going to get overpaid probably by $2 million or so. And the term is going to be way too long. And I worry about how that contract is going to age. if they end up signing him. But again, they have to get the player, and I'm not going to sit here and you know talk about that until we find out one way or the other. But that could be something they're clearing cap for. There are so many routes this could be for. Like I put out in my tweet, this is a win in terms of the trade itself, but now we have to see what they use the cap space for. How are you going to execute? How are you weaponizing it? And this is what it comes down to. I'm done hearing what Drury has to say or any of the trade rumors. None of it matters until I see something different. 100%. That's exactly how I feel. And this is, yeah, that's the thing. Like, they should have done this last offseason, or at the very least after the New Jersey Devils series. They should have moved Kreider. Although I don't remember if that was, I think that's when his no move clause ended up being a partial. Whenever it became partial, they should have made the move then, but it's done is done. Robertson easily. Robertson or Paterka? Robertson by a long shot. You're talking a 40 goal score, putting that in this lineup. Yeah, I mean, there's no one that's untouchable on this roster for Robertson outside of maybe Fox. That's about it. Because that is someone that could extend the window for this team if they're going to try to contend. And yeah, I know, Anthony. This is the ironic part is that if this is for Robertson, they're dumping Kreider and then gonna give up more assets than they would have needed to just get. They could have just got Robertson for Kreider a few years ago. Pain, pain in that regard. The lesson I see Drury going in is signing slightly younger players for long-term unmovable deals that will not age well. Very well could be that. I'm not going to be shocked at anything that happens this offseason because I have no clue. Hopefully they do dump Susie. It's just ridiculous that they traded a third for him in the first place, though. Just to dump him. Troy Mathis, don't get the player when they're young and affordable. Get them when they're older and cost way more assets. At least with Robertson, the thing I could say, well, also, I know that you know this, but I'm just saying, like, in a general sense, um, Drury wasn't the GM at the time for that, but at least Robertson's 25, I could say too. So it's like if they give up prime assets for Jason Robertson at age 25, I'm going to be to the moon, and that would be a really good move. Lafreniere or Panarin, I don't think go in a Robertson deal because I don't see a reason why Dallas would take Lafreniere if they're going to move Robertson the open cap. And then same thing with Panarin there. Unless they don't like Jason Robertson in general and they want to shake up entirely, maybe. But based on what we're hearing, it's to clear up cap. So to me, you're either going to have to give them a player of that's going to be less on their cap hit, or it's going to have to be a group of players that combine for the same cap hit or just above what Robertson would be paid. And to me, that's Cooley, Schneider, and Perot. Cooley, Schneider, and Perot. And I'm doing that. I'm sorry, but I am. This is what it comes down to as well. That you could argue Kreider deserved better, but most of this he brought upon himself. He was the one who quit. The Rangers never quit on Kreider. In fact, they did the exact opposite for years on end. Yeah. And that's the other thing, because while we're talking about the fact that, again, like I know that people are going to get pissed either way, but all I could say is that this is just accurate. I mean, he brought this on himself because they could have moved him 2 off seasons ago. They didn't. They could have moved him last off season. They didn't. They could have moved him in December when they sent out the memo. They didn't. And the guy still quit. The guy quit. And on top of that, injuries too. But if he was that hurt, then don't play. So it sucks ass to end like this, but realistically, Kreider deserves more of the blame on the way this ended. And again, that's not me taking away. It's not me saying that he doesn't deserve flowers for what he's done for the organization. But at the same time, let's call it how it is. I know. And Mika did bring it on himself, but the problem is he's got a full no trade clause, or a full no move rather. So I don't know what you do there. Unfortunately, I have no clue what you could do about that one. Yeah, Keandre Miller, it looks like, is going to be gone next. Can't look up anymore. Any RFAs I want to take a swing on? Outside of Robertson, McLeod, I like. Um Paterka, of course. Who were some of the other ones as well? Morgan Geeky I like, but I don't know, I'm a little hesitant on that one because I feel like he could get a little overpaid there. Um Rossi. Rossi, of course, is another. I feel like I'm blanking on an obvious one, and I don't know why. Byram, yeah, Byram's a good one. Nyes I would like, but I don't think Nyes is going to be offer sheet or moved. I think that unfortunately Toronto would match anything that is thrown at Matthew Nyes. But I would like him, don't get me wrong. Is this even official yet? No, it is not official. It's unofficially official. We've heard reports. And again, if there's anything different that I missed out in terms of the details, I will go live tomorrow to talk about it. But for right now, we are hearing that it is going to be Carey Terrence, a second round pick for Chris Kreider. So a C, maybe B minus if you want to be generous, level prospect, and a second. But the biggest thing that they're getting is cap space. And again, how will they use it? I don't know. Is it going to be Cody Ceci? I will do something that I can't say on stream to myself, but you get the point. Falls on both. Falls on both of them. And because that's the thing, two wrongs don't make a right. Because you're getting treated like shit by your boss, doesn't mean that you just quit. When you're making that much money and in the NHL, when you're an athlete, you don't just quit. If you really want out that bad, you would play your way out and then request out. But he did quit. And don't get me wrong, Troy does not get a pass either, but this falls on both the players and the general manager. That's what I've been saying the entire season. And that, yeah, I mean, you become worth a bag of chips when you quit on the team. He did clearly quit. Like, it's not up for debate. The entire team quit. They all did. This and you don't fuck over the fans that are giving you your salary. That's the biggest thing for me. You don't fuck over the people that are paying your salary. That's why, again, like I said earlier in the live stream, that's why I don't care when these guys get moved. Like, this isn't emotional like it is for some of my other teams, or like it is with the older group or anything. They quit on you, they quit on me, they quit on all of us. Again, appreciate what he did do, the good moments, but it's hard to sit here and sulk and be upset when that's what he was doing all season, is sulking and being upset instead of going out there and playing good puck. But that goes for the entire team. If I get treated like shit by my boss and I responded by refusing to do my job, I would get fired. Kreider still gets paid millions for doing the same thing. Be a professional. You, if you want out, then say it. Exactly. It, the injuries were part of it, but when we're hearing reports that, and you hear these guys just speak in general, you know they quit. Like there's evidence. There's no fabricating this. There is no, like, this isn't speculation. This is confirmed stuff that they quit. No excuse to quit on the fans. And on top of that, again, I don't agree with the way Drury operates the team. I don't agree with certain things he does. But like Brian Boyle has said as well, so this is coming from someone that has played the sport professionally and has been traded multiple times. Go out there and play. It is none of your business what the general manager is doing. It is none of your business what moves are being made. Focus on what you can and play good hockey. And if you play good enough, these trades won't happen. Hopefully this moves This move leads Kreider to his ninth assist of the year, convincing 93 to waive his no move clause. That would be great. That would be great, but unfortunately, I don't see that happening. But that would be nice. That would be great for him to get close, not at double digit assists, but close to it. But yeah, I mean, again, like just Brian Boyle talking on that on the Up in the Blue Seats podcast or whatever the name of it is, and when he was saying that, it's like it's true. It's true. You can't get in the business of the general manager. Go out there and play. But either way, I'm gonna wrap things up here. Tomorrow we'll go live and talk about this a bit more, just because there's still so much to unpack with this. Maybe I'll get a couple of guests on. I just wanted to do a quick live late at night here to talk about the trade, give my first reaction to it and everything. But tomorrow we'll go more in depth, talk about what this means going forward, talk about Kreider's time with the Rangers and everything. So thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. And I'll see you guys in the next one.